Winter 2026 was a stacked season, but maybe you were too busy with all the great sequels that aired, or you had a slow start to the year and need something to binge just before we fully dive into spring. Well, I checked out every new show that came out, and here are 10 of my favorite new anime from winter. A really interesting mix of genres, and a bunch of shows that flew under the radar, so these are my recommendations, in no particular order. My Sugoi picks, since I don't know what to call this. If you enjoy this, please like and sub and all that, and comment below if I missed any of your faves. Gonna start off with the one affected by Netflix dump the whole season method, Love Through a Prism. It's a shame I've seen little to no talk about it because it's really good. Set in the early 1900s, a Japanese girl travels to London to enter an art school, where she has to become the best student so her stereotypical mom lets her keep her dream. Very quirky cast of characters, and a hint of romance between the main girl and the eccentric star student who happens to be an aristocrat. Great visuals for the time period and location, as well as for the developing scenes, the art, and the relationships. Good reviews from what I've seen, but should have more eyes on it. Speaking of romance vibes, let's blow through that category real quick. In the clear, Moonlit Dusk is a shoujo where a tomboy, nicknamed the Prince, is the talk of the school, and has never been flirted with or treated as a girl, for some reason. Cue in the other popular dude who actually falls for her in that way. It's a fun, developing relationship, with her trying to let her guard down, and him learning about boundaries, how she thinks, and such. I do think the way Kohaku is written is a little sus, because he is a bit too eager and touchy-feely, so bear that in mind. But I still vibe with this. Joy is a fun character. I really like when she drops the Prince act. She's cute. Also love the OP and ED by Unison Square Garden. Never been huge on harems, but Tune Into the Midnight Heart has two things that keep me going. The mystery part, where one of the girls in the audio club is hiding their identity as an anonymous online radio host who the MC fell for years ago. And the other is the main guy himself being hilarious and determined. Finally, not just a wet blanket or the typical gooner. Sure, some forced fanservice, albeit not a ton, and a tad slow in advancing the plot, but it's still a fairly fun watch. I like a few of the girls too, Rika being my favorite. I will give the edge to You and I Are Polar Opposites, easily my favorite rom-com of the season. The contrast of the main pair with Miyu, the fun-loving bubbly Gyaru, and Tani, the quiet, honest loner, is just so perfect. It never feels forced, and you just love to see how them and their bond evolve every episode. It's really wholesome. And it was such a breath of fresh air seeing them turn into a thing straight away in the first episode. Adorably great impression immediately, and a huge plus also from the cast, since they nailed it. I feel the Horimiya vibes, everyone with their own quirks, side couples, and stuff going on. And not to forget the awesome visual style, so colorful and expressive, with all the cartoony gags, while still knowing to pull back when the gushy stuff happens. With the voice acting delivering as well. A great feel-good show, gotta watch. This one also has some romance, but it is very different. A superfan gets to be the housemaid for her favorite idol out of nowhere, but she discovers he is the exact opposite of his public persona. From cool, secure, and wild, to being a shut-in introvert who's always down on himself. So it's up to her to help him keep his career alive, for the sake of his adoring fans. It can get pretty insane, with her tenacity and resolve for her godlike Oshimen, while trying to calm her thirstiness, since it's unfair to the rest of the fan base. Even though Tamon is discovering his own feelings for her, her constant fangirling can be a bit much, but overall, I really like how over the top they go with this. We needed a contrast to the intense Oshinoko. Moving along, we've got Sentenced to be a Hero. It's probably the most popular new show that came out, and with good reason. Turning the role of being a fantasy hero into a punishment only given to the worst criminals, forcing them to be resurrected each time they die to continue serving in the war against demons is nuts and super refreshing. With Silo and Teorita's unlikely pairing, fueled by the main character's past and betrayals haunting him, while still somehow having a noble heart, and the rest of the interesting heroes and unlikely allies, and the phenomenal animation that still keeps delivering throughout the season just cements this one even further. Full of action, great magic concepts, some creative monsters finally, lots of backstories and mysteries to tell. It's really damn good. Shiboyugi is a complicated one, being about a world with televised killing games where the main girl is trying to beat 99 of them. Each game has a different theme, strategy, or story to it, number of participants, and such. They use like 2 or 3 episodes for the designated game, and they try to add some backstories to the new girls, as well as try to give some dimension to our main character. It really wants to convey the atmosphere with all these quiet moments and shots with different aspect ratios and backgrounds that are pretty beautiful and unique, but can feel slow for sure. I do prefer the first episodes where they focused on the girls reading each other, having to choose to betray or work in numbers to survive the game, but the plot heavy ones are interesting as well. One of the better iterations of this genre in a bit, that's for sure. One I think might not be for everyone is Kaya-chan Isn't Scary, centered on an oddball preschooler who's capable of seeing ghosts and curses, and is able to one-punch them into submission before her classmates and teachers get hurt, with the mystery of how she's able to do this, and what is hiding in her own home. Dark Gathering is the most similar show to this, from the small powerful MC to the level of scariness, being not much, but can still give you some uneasy feelings here and there, especially here with the kindergarten setting. Kinda crazy mix if I'm real. Visuals are fine, but the plot itself has kept me waiting for each new episode. Also a bit controversial, the Darwin Incident has definitely kept my interest. A human-chimpanzee hybrid was born, and his adoptive family tries to get him to live a normal life, but prejudice, different ideologies, and a rogue animal rights group just can't leave him be, escalating stuff way out of proportion. I know this one isn't doing hot on Mal, for example, but I've really enjoyed it so far. Sure, the animation and visuals aren't anything next level, but it does the job well enough for the story they're trying to tell, even if it's pretty out there and can be a little preachy. But faults and all, I'd still recommend you give it a shot. And lastly, my favorite new show of the season and possible contender for anime of the year, Journal with Witch. Fair warning, this one is heavy, especially if you suffer the loss of a loved one, but the way it explores this feeling is just so endearing and emotional, especially for a character like Asa, a teen who always depended on what her mom told her to have as a viewpoint in the world, just suddenly losing that guiding light. She's thrust into living with her estranged aunt, who has a different perspective on life, and is a whole other can of worms. But Makyu's attempts to help Asa without being overbearing, because that's what she hated about her sister, make for some amazing character moments, discoveries, and purely emotional tear-jerking scenes, while still giving that cozy slice-of-life vibe with this deeply relatable cast. I didn't even get into how they explore the spectrum and the effects this would have on a student, but I know I'll talk more about this show in the future. Point is, you've gotta watch it. It's one of the best anime dramas I've ever seen. I was hooked right at episode 1, so hopefully you will be too. And those are my main picks. And just to cover all my bases, here are a few more. Champignon Witch is as fairy tale as it gets, with a misunderstood witch who grows mushrooms everywhere she steps. The pacing feels like you're reading several Grimm books, so the plot points do change suddenly. It's okay, but I wasn't fully into it halfway in. Easygoing Territory Defense is another isekai with an OP protag where he attempts to build a town with his powers and crew. Fairly fine, but the usual checklist with these shows is here, so not very original. A Gentle Noble's Vacation has the neat concept of a noble getting sent to a different world and using it as an excuse to be a tourist, get to be an adventurer, and so on. Decent addition to the usual fantasy adventurer shtick, but not many stakes to it. And The Demon King's Daughter is Too Kind was very close to getting a pick, with the cute idea of the daughter being so pure-hearted and nice that it's impossible to teach her to enslave humanity. Funny idea, but it does get formulaic, and is a bit of a cuteness overload. Still pretty good though. And those are the new anime from winter that I liked and would recommend. So if you're somehow free and need new shows, now's the time to binge. Didn't want to fully skip winter since there were some real bangers, so here we are. I don't know if I'll be doing the usual tier list stuff anymore, but let me know if you're interested. Might do something a little earlier for spring, kinda like this, if it sticks, so we'll see. But for now, hope you're doing well, it's been Jules, and I'll see you next time.